Hello, Augustana. My name is Steve McKinley. I'm a retired pastor and a member of Augustana. And this Sunday, I'll have the privilege of pinch hitting, being in the pulpit. So I also have the privilege of leading the text study today. Before I get into that, because I'm not officially part of the staff, I'm just another guy, I want to take a minute to express my thanks to the whole church staff, to Pastor Mark and to Lean and everybody working in the church for the way they've carried us all through this difficult time. This is not the work they're accustomed to doing, and they've done it well. I appreciate it. I know you appreciate it. We hold them in prayer. Now, our text this Sunday comes from the beginning of the book of Joshua, the first 9 verses of the book of Joshua. And it reads like this. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord spoke to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' assistant, saying, "My servant Moses is dead. Now proceed to cross the Jordan, you and all the people, into the land that I am giving to them, to the Israelites. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given to you, as I promised to Moses. From the wilderness and the Lebanon as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, to the great sea in the west shall be your territory. No one shall be able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not fail you or forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you shall put this people in possession of the land that I swore to their ancestors. Only be strong and very courageous, being careful to act in accordance with all of the law that my servant Moses commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, so that you may be successful wherever you go. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. You shall meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to act in accordance with all that is written in it. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall be successful. I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Now the beginning of the book of Joshua takes us into a new part, the second part of the Old Testament. The first part was the Pentateuch, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. We had creation, Adam and Eve, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, the period of slavery in Egypt, and the Exodus, with Moses as a central character. They're called the books of Moses. It's what our Jewish kin call the Torah. And now we cross over the bridge into what the scholars call the Deuteronomistic history. By the way, footnote, that's a scholar word, and I've been practicing for a few days to be able to say Deuteronomistic history. I will not say it again. It's history from the point of view of the book of Deuteronomy. And so when Joshua talks about this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, he's talking about Deuteronomy. The Deuteronomistic history, my gosh, I did say it again, consists of Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel, and 1st and 2nd Kings. It covers a 700-year period from Moses to the Babylonian exile, through the period of the Judges, the United Kingdom and the kings there, Saul, David, and Solomon, and then the divided kingdoms to the fall 700 years later in the exile in Babylon. The law and stories of Deuteronomy are the basis of its theology. The theme is God at work in the life of the people of Israel, keeping the promise God made to Abraham to give Abraham and his descendants a law. These books tell the story of how God did that, how God gave them the land, how they lived in the land, and how ultimately they lost the land. God is working in history through these books, as God works in history even when we can't see how God is working. Now here in these 9 verses, Joshua is being prepared to lead the people to the promised land, the land from the Euphrates to the Mediterranean, which will be theirs. I always find it poignant to look at these parts of the Old Testament and this plan, because we're talking about a land that is still in dispute today. For much of history, since the time of Joshua, that land has been in dispute, and it still is. Now, there are 3 key phrases in this passage that is our lesson today. We see the phrase first in verse 6, be strong and courageous. And then in verse 7, it gets ramped up just a little bit, where it says, be strong and very courageous. And then at the end, in verse 9, we have that phrase again, be strong and courageous. To face this intimidating future will require strength and courage. But God's command never comes without a promise. And we see that repeated twice right before the first, be strong and courageous. God says, as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not fail you or forsake you. And then at the very end, the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Those are the promises that God is making to Joshua as he leads the people of Israel. And I like to think that those are promises that endure to today. They're good words for the people of God in 2020. As we face the challenges of COVID-19, as we grapple with what it means to be a just society, grapple with the reality of systemic racism, we can cling to these promises and the command, be strong and courageous. I will not fail you or forsake you. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. It's not an easy time. It won't be an easy time in the next few years. But we dare to be strong and courageous because we have the promise that God will not fail us or forsake us, but will be with us wherever you go. May God be with you in your life this week, and I hope you'll join with us for worship on Sunday.